All right, welcome to this explainer on Chapter 4, which is all about sovereignty. If you've ever wanted to understand the absolute bedrock of political science and, well, how states actually operate, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to break down this huge, complex topic step by step. By the end, you'll be completely ready to ace your exams, and honestly, you'll just have a much better grip on how the world works.
So, have you ever stopped to wonder who truly holds the absolute greatest power in a country? Seriously, think about it for a second. Is it the Constitution that sets all the rules? Is it the government that goes out and enforces them? Or wait, is it the people who actually vote? Who really has the final say to tax you, or draft you, or govern your digital data? What ultimately makes any state truly independent and powerful? Answering this question is the absolute core of understanding sovereignty, and that is exactly what we're going to unpack today. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our quick roadmap for today. 1. What is sovereignty? 2. Legal and Austin's theory. 3. Modern and external challenges. And 4. A trick to remember.
Section 1. What is sovereignty? At its core, sovereignty is the supreme power, the ultimate decision-making authority, and the absolute independence of a state. You could think of it as the ultimate engine that makes any state truly independent. Now, before this concept was formally established, and historians trace this back to the Treaty of Westphalia in 1648, things were messy. Empires, feudal lords, and religious orders were constantly overlapping in authority. It was kind of like a giant puzzle where all the pieces were fighting over who was actually in charge, causing endless conflicts. But today, sovereignty basically means that a state is the highest authority within a given territory. Absolutely no outside power can legally dictate what happens inside its borders, and no internal group can legally defy it. It's the top of the food chain.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these 4 specific characteristics form the absolute foundation of state power. First up, supremacy. The state is above all other associations, groups, or individuals within its territory. Second, permanence. Governments come and go, right? Leaders are voted in and out. But the actual sovereignty of the state remains constant. It doesn't disappear just because a president leaves office. Third, indivisibility. You simply cannot split sovereignty up without destroying the state itself. There can only be one ultimate authority. And fourth, universality. Its power extends over every single person, organization, and inch of territory within its borders. No exceptions.
Let's ground this in reality with a very practical example. Take India, for instance. The parliament there drafts and passes laws, and they wield incredible, sweeping authority over daily life. However, the parliament is not the ultimate sovereign. Actually, the Constitution is supreme. The government exercises the power, sure, but those lawmakers are entirely bound by the supreme authority of the Constitution. If a law violates that Constitution, boom, it gets struck down. So that highest level of authority, the framework that dictates the very rules of the game, that is exactly what we mean by sovereignty.
Let's move to Section 2, Legal and Austin's theory, and see how this builds from basic definitions into academic theory.
When we examine legal sovereignty, we have to talk about John Austin. His classic legal framework argues for absolute, completely unchecked supreme power that resides in a specific, identifiable person or body. In his 19th century view, this sovereign issues commands that everyone else absolutely must obey, while they obey no one themselves. Sounds intense, right? But critics are quick to point out that in the real world, authority is almost never truly absolute. There are always practical limitations. Sure, a government might have the legal right on paper to pass any law, but things like historical precedents, moral codes, and the very real threat of a public rebellion constantly restrict what a sovereign can actually get away with. Austin's theory is a perfect textbook definition, but reality is far more complex.
And this brilliantly illustrates the point. Think of a school principal. They make the ultimate daily decisions for the entire campus. They issue rules that students and teachers absolutely have to follow. However, even the principal must operate within the overarching rules of the school board or the state education department. They have immense power, for sure, but it operates strictly within an established framework. This directly mirrors the state. Governments make incredibly powerful decisions every single day, but they still have to operate within the boundaries of their constitutions and international norms. Even the very top authorities operate within specific boundaries.
Which brings us to a critical question. Does John Austin's idea of unchecked, absolute authority actually exist outside of textbooks in our modern, hyper-connected world? I mean, can any state truly claim to obey absolutely no one else today?
Section 3, Modern and External Challenges.
The reality is, absolute sovereignty is increasingly being diluted by powerful external forces. No state operates in a vacuum anymore. Globalization intertwines our economies so tightly that a financial crisis in one hemisphere basically dictates policy in another. And then you have organizations like the United Nations imposing collective security measures that can just override individual state desires. On top of that, international laws dictate exactly how states must interact with each other, and global human rights standards have completely rejected the old-school idea that a sovereign can treat its citizens however it wants without facing massive global consequences.
So, the crucial point here is that contemporary problems completely change the traditional meaning of state independence. Think about it. A country might have legal sovereignty on paper, but if it relies entirely on foreign bailouts or imports just for its basic survival, is it truly independent? Economic dependence is a massive check on power. Furthermore, the digital world ignores physical borders completely. When multinational tech corporations control the personal data and communication channels of millions of citizens, they directly challenge a government's fundamental ability to truly control its own territory. International organizations, treaties, and even global supply chains now share the power that used to belong exclusively to the nation-state. It's a whole new ballgame.
Section 4. Trick to remember.
Okay, we've covered a lot, so what's the easiest way to remember the core of this chapter for your exams? Use the acronym SALT. S stands for supreme power. That's the absolute core definition of a state's independence. A is for authority, the ultimate right to make and enforce decisions. L represents legal sovereignty, understanding how that power is practically codified in laws and constitutions. And T stands for the theory of Austin, the classic academic framework of absolute power and its real-world limitations. Just master SALT, and you literally have the foundation of the entire subject right at your fingertips.
So, which part of sovereignty did you find most difficult? That wraps up our explainer on Chapter 4, but I want to leave you with this provocative thought. As our world becomes entirely digitized, as global corporations start to rival the economic might of entire nations, and as problems like climate change ignore borders completely, will the traditional sovereign state eventually become obsolete? It's a huge question. Let us know what you think in the comments. Keep reviewing your SALT framework, and we will see you in the next explainer.